Hello and welcome to Adulting with Most. Hi, my name is Emily. I'm a young adult and I am a very friendly person who loves animals. I was born with a rare genetic disorder called Prader-Willi syndrome. It's a disorder that makes you overeat because you never feel full. I'm on a strict calorie count diet to manage it, but there is no cure for it. I'm currently in the MOST program. They're helping to build up my resume by offering work experience to gain meaningful employment and not just a job. I'm also engaged to my fiance John. He's so cute, and we have a lot in common. I want to share my life and life with others with disabilities and challenges we face every day. I want the world for people, yes, people like us. Having a disability can be challenging. Not only do most things come harder for you, but people also treat you differently because of a disability. Today, me and my guest Patrick will talk about how we show the world that despite having a disability, it does not stop us from reaching our dreams. My guest today is Patrick, someone I know through the MOST program as well as through my education. Patrick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. As with all our guests and topics are encouraged to share any experiences that you feel comfortable sharing. This is a pressure-free zone. So, Patrick, how do you handle telling people about your disability?
I handle it very well. I don't have any problem telling people. I just tell people that I really know, and I usually have a very good sense of humor. So if someone, for example, says, "Oh, you're clumsy," I just say, "Oh, hi, yeah, I am," and I laugh with them. I just laugh. But I don't think I've had any problems telling anyone about my disability or anything like that. How do you handle telling people about your disability?
I don't really talk about it too much with people I don't know. Um, unless if I know them very well. Um, what struggles do you have to face in your everyday life?
Some struggles that I have to face are my bones problems. So I have osteoporosis, so I basically have to struggle if I have to be very careful with that. I have a headache problem, so I basically have to struggle with headaches. When I was little, I had a headache. I grew up with headaches my entire life, and when I was little, they were really bad to the point where I would probably throw up 13 hours and maybe even have to go to the hospital because the only thing that would work would be skin and an IV. So I struggle with headaches, but they're not as bad when they were when I was younger. Luckily. What struggles do you face in your everyday life?
My disability, my eating disorder. Sometimes I run into problems at work. Um, and if that happens, I explain that I can't do that. Um, I I I just don't really talk about it with with people that I don't know. Uh um about my disability. But if there's like something that happens at work, then I'll let them know that I can't do that kind of thing. Um, because it's stressful. And it's too hard. Um, uh, Sometimes I have problems with my friends. Sometimes problems with staff. That sometimes I don't see eye to eye on. Um, uh, how do you overcome those struggles?
I just don't let it get to me. I just can't get like, I don't let the problem get to me. If I'm having like a headache, for example, I'll tell someone or take something, but I mean, I don't let it get to me. I don't let the problems that I have get to my and impact me. I just deal with it, and I don't let it bother me. So I mean, I know. I mean, it just depends on how I'm feeling that day, but I mean, I don't let um impact how I'm doing or how I'm doing not at the job or anything like that. How do you overcome these struggles?
I try to look on the positive side on things, not too much on the stuff that's stressful. Um, uh, if there is something that happens that um makes me upset, I normally just uh talk to friends, listen to music, take my dog for a walk, or do puzzles, stuff like that, or dancing, like, or even like going to my baseball games and just whack a freaking ball and
Exactly.
get all my anger out on that.
Exactly. I also like to
Um,
point out we're both on the same baseball team, and we've been on it for 3 years now.
is it 3 or 4?
I don't remember. It's not 3 or
I
4 years
don't
now,
remember, 3 or 4.
but I don't remember. But we're all also on the same baseball team,
Yeah,
and we enjoy it. So I like to point that
yes.
out while we're on here. All right. Okay.
Um, how do you address someone who tries to talk down to you or treat you differently?
I would address I would say, hey, how would you feel if someone started making fun of you because you have a disability? Like, how would that make you feel? And if they said that would make me sad, I'm like, then why is it okay for you to make fun of me? Like, why I don't it like the, people have feelings, and just because you think it's funny, the other person might not. I mean, it doesn't give you any way for you to go up to someone and say, hey, you have a disability, ha ha ha. Like, no, you don't do that. That person might get upset. They might have a problem, and they're not cool. So don't do it. Or be like, or what God's saying, do unto others if you would have done to you. You wouldn't like it, then why are you doing it? Like, that's how you look at it. Um, how would you address someone who talks down to you or treats you different?
I would say the same thing. How would you feel if somebody did that to you, and it's not nice to say that kind of thing um to somebody like that, especially if they talk to you like about say something about your disability. Don't talk don't talk about my disability. Don't say anything mean about it because you don't have what I have,
You don't know what they're going through. Like,
and you don't know what I'm going through. Um uh and if stuff like that ever happens, I normally go to a trusted adult that try to talk to that person, um like a school counselor, or like any other kind of trusted adult that I know.
okay.
Um, what would you tell your younger self trying to make new friends?
I would tell my younger self if I could go back and tell them, be like, hey, be yourself. Don't be someone that you're not, and try to have something in common. I mean, if you have something in common, you're more likely to have a friend relationship and so on with someone that you have nothing in common. Like, you like baseball and they like, I don't know, soccer, and you don't like soccer, and they don't like baseball. You probably aren't gonna. They probably don't have something in common. But if you like horseback riding and they like horseback riding, you have something in common. You guys can talk about that.
Right,
So you have to make sure that you two have something in common, because if you don't, and they don't have anything in common, probably not someone you can. I mean, you can be nice to them, but you probably not someone that you can be friends with, because you don't have anything in common. There's nothing you guys can talk about. How would you tell your youngest self trying to make friends?
Uh, get to know. I would say first let them get to know you and let yourself to get to know them and see if you have anything in common that would you would see yourself being friends with that person. Um but and throughout my years of at like middle school, elementary school, and high school, it was hard at first to make new friends, but once I got to know them and what they liked and they knew what I liked, I started to be able to connect with them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard. I mean, when you're younger, it's kind of more. You're kind of nervous. You might be shy. I mean, it's hard to make new friends. Even at my
It
age,
is.
I mean, but it's especially harder when you're younger because you might get shy. You might get nervous. Anything could happen. So I mean, it's harder when you're younger, but it's still harder when you're older. But you're not gonna be as shy now as you would be when you're older. You wouldn't be as shy. You might get a little nervous, but you won't get as shy.
Like when you were like in elementary school.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely.
What advice can you give to others?
My advice would be if you're going through a hard time, reach out to friends, family, someone that you can trust and you can talk to. Maybe go for a walk, or maybe listen to music. Call a friend that you haven't talked to for a while. Just try talking to people, or maybe do some activities that you really enjoy. Like maybe you like gardening, go out and garden. If you like going to a friend's house, go to a friend's house. I mean, nowadays you really can't go to a friend's house. What's going on? But I mean, you could go see them and socially distance and stuff like that. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Also, if you like to play baseball, go hit a baseball. Release your anger out on the ball.
I agree
How
with
would you?
what?
What advice can you give to others?
I would say be yourself and do what stuff that you like to do, that you like to do on your own and with friends. Um, and with family as well.
Absolutely, call family. If you have family, like my half of my family is like my uncle just moved to Georgia, but half of my family lives out in California. So it's really hard. I mean, it's hard to keep in touch with them because it's I think it's like a 3 hour time difference. So sometimes they'll call me when I'm busy. Sometimes I'll call them when they're busy. So it's harder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you had family in Georgia and California.
Well,
That's
my uncle
interesting.
just moved. So
Ah,
yeah.
well, with that, I think we can call this an episode. I want to thank my guest, Patrick, for coming by and talking to me about his life and my life. Are there any last comments you would like to say?
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed being on your first podcast.
I had a lot of fun with you too. Thanks for coming.
Anytime.
If you have any questions, be sure to email us at adultingwithmost@gmail.com. Again, thank you for coming and thank you for listening to Adulting with Most. I've been your host, Emily, and until the next time, stay positive and respect others.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.